Hey guys, we're back. This time we're going to be taking a look at the Kickstarter extras that came with Starcadia Quest. And there are two of these boxes that are slightly different. They're a different name on the front, and I think the border, the background, or something on them is different. And this one is the Space Marauders box. The other one is the Space Oddities box. The only difference is if you backed at the level that gave you the Arrrmada, which is the pirate campaign. If you backed that, then this box has a couple extra figures in it, which is the Space Marauders box. You'll be getting that one. If you did not get the Arrrmada expansion, then you'll get the Space Oddities box, which is this exact same thing, except you're missing the pirate-themed guys that are added to this box. Him and... let me see the other guy. I don't know where he is. But there's a couple extra characters that were in the Marauders box and not in the Oddity box. So just to make that clear, some people have been asking about why they only got one and not the other. It all depends on which expansions you bought. I also got the Build-A-Bot extras, which came with the Kickstarter. Plastic tokens, which were an optional thing with the Kickstarter. And the scenery pack, which was a optional thing. Those I'm going to be doing a separate video for, and I'll probably show the Build-A-Bot extras with the Build-A-Bot expansion just to make those easier. But these ones were included in the Kickstarter, and it's just some extra mobs and some new robots for the Build-A-Bot expansion. Just makes more sense to put those in that video. But for this one, we're going to get into the Space Marauder box here and take a look. First thing we have here is some new campaign sheets, because there are some new scenarios in here, which is cool. The fact that they made those actually is kind of impressive. I wasn't expecting that. So we have a lot of stuff right on the top here. First of all are these. And these are a rather interesting thing. It was something often requested for Arcadia Quest, and they actually came through and made them for us in this one. They're a little thin. I was kind of disappointed by that, but they're very functional for what they are. And what these are you take your player boards here. See if I can get it in. It's hard to do this on camera. There we go. And they slide over your player boards like this, so when you have your player board on the table, now you have these little recessed slots, which you can't really see now that it's colored, but the slots are recessed in for your character cards and all of your equipment tokens. And that way, if the board gets bumped or you brush across it when reaching for something, it doesn't move your stuff all over, which was a common problem with Arcadia Quest. I don't know how common it's going to be with Starcadia, because the tokens are those heavier cardboard tokens. I don't think they're going to slide around as often as the cards did, especially once they were sleeved. They got really slippery, but still a nice thing to have. And I'll probably be making use of those. I think I'm just going to put them on here once, though, and leave them instead of taking the things out each time. But definitely a nice addition. Something to kind of enhance your game. So in this first slot here, we have our cards. And we got a bunch of new scenarios. Let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4... same, 5, 6 new scenarios in here that pertain to the new monsters and new stuff available here. And always nice to have extra scenarios, especially since they're so limited in what's in the actual game. Then we have our other cards here. Let's start with the bad guys. We have Octomucky, Gobbly. Well, he's a Goobly. He's a Gobbly. And those look like the guys from Fifth Element. I'm pretty sure that's what they're supposed to be. Twin Peaks, these guys are pretty cool. They come out, there's 2 of them, but they fight as one monster. So they activate, move, and attack as one monster. Onto Bow Wow, he's got a bow. Johnny Jet here is a Mandalorian. Those are the Bogons from the Americanized Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. The Cylon. Terminator. Mountain Peak, which is a large tentacle thing. Not even sure what he is. Pickaxe. Boombox, I like him. He's got a big, huge gun on his shoulder. And then Kraken Jim, which is kind of like a big octopus. I think he's a robot or cyborg. His tentacles look like they're robotic. But new monsters, these have classes just like the others. Officers and troopers. So they can be swapped in your campaigns for... guys, I think one of them's a villain too. Which one was the villain? Oh, the Mountain Peak guy is a villain. But yeah, those can be used in your normal campaigns if you really shuffle these in later on. I suggest playing through all the games first. Did they specifically mention what mobs to use? Those are on the back of the setup cards. I don't know if I showed that in my other videos. But definitely play through the way they're supposed to be first, but then you can customize later on and swap in whatever you want, which is always nice. And then we have a whole stack of new characters, and these are all the exclusive ones to the Kickstarter campaign. And Mel, who's the girl from Portal, guy from Galaxy Quest, Princess Leia, Marty McFly, Marvin from Hitchhiker's Guide, it's one of the girls from Avatar. I can't place this one. I'm sure someone will mention it in the comments, but I've seen it. I just can't place what that's supposed to be. It's Ripley from Aliens, RoboCop, Spock, Tron. He's from Dragon Ball Z. I don't know why I can't think of the name off the top of my head. This one I've been trying to figure out for a while. I thought it was maybe like Tom Cruise from Top Gun, but it didn't really fit the motif. His actual armor, though, his outfit, the helmet and all, is exactly the same as a Rebel Trooper from Star Wars. We have Johnny Jet, who's the Mandalorian guy, as a playable character. The Terminator is a playable character. Iceheart, who is actually in the core set as a playable character. I'm disappointed that they didn't give us extra models for these. In the Arcadia Quest, whenever you had ones, there's the Cylon guy, and then the Gobbly, and Thorn, who's the bad guy from the base set. There's a few more in here. Donald was Malcolm Reynolds from Firefly. I'm not positive on who Maxine's supposed to be. Chloe, I think, is Zoe from Firefly. And then Wet Willie is the bad guy in the Arrrmada campaign. I think I was saying that I think they kind of cheaped out on the models on this in the respect of, in the original Arcadia Quest, anytime you got a character that could be used, sorry for the noise, as a hero and a villain, they gave you the model for the hero and the villain. And in this they didn't, which is kind of a cheap cop-out, I think. But again, I'm not going to go through each individual model, but I'll quickly swing through so you can see them. These guys actually are massive compared to, let's say, your normal heroes. He's the mountain guy. I got this guy with a bazooka or whatever it is, heavy gun. I love the Vogon guys. We just rewatched the Hitchhiker's Guide not too long ago. So, Terminator. And then we got, yeah, these guys are definitely from Fifth Element. They even have the gun that clamps on your arm. And then our hero models. I can't tip my camera just right to get these, but a whole bunch of guys in there. And that's a look at everything that came in the Kickstarter exclusive Space Marauders box. Like I said, if you got the Space Oddities box instead, it means you didn't back the Arrrmada expansion. So you got a couple less guys in here, but most of them should be the same. As always with games like this, it's helpful to have an extra variety of characters, so having another big batch of characters really helps for replayability and changing it up between games. Also, more scenarios. There is a very limited amount in the box set, so you can't go wrong having extra scenarios to play through as well. And a bunch of new variety of enemies. Some of them are replacement enemies, like the Terminator and that, which really don't have anything pertaining to them specifically, I don't think. And then you have some other generic guys that you can swap in specific things. And then there's other ones that are specific to actual campaigns. One thing I noticed, my big guy here isn't actually connected to his base. He just kind of sits on there. And I wasn't sure if they did that on purpose to make it easier to paint, or he just didn't get glued. I'm thinking he just didn't get glued properly, so I gotta fix him. But yeah, that's gonna wrap it up for our look at the Starcadia Quest Space Marauders box. As always, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.